From Sheepshead Bay to Lower Manhattan, police say a gang of recent migrants from Venezuela terrorized New Yorkers, robbing them violently and then hacking their phones to drain bank accounts of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Police say this is one part of one migrant gang, and there are others.
Look at this insane video. A group of migrants in New York City are arrested after attacking NYPD officers in Times Square. 5 were arrested, and 4 are already released without bail.
All right, the brawl started when 2 officers were trying to break up a rowdy crowd near a migrant shelter on 42nd Street. While arresting one of the men, the other said, hey, I'm not going to just sit there. I'll jump in. I'll start kicking. I'll stop punching the officers. After all, I don't belong in this country anyway. I could beat up an NYPD officer. What'll actually happen? The Manhattan DA's office saying it's investigated the incident as police search for 5 other men involved.
There you see it on the security footage. Authorities walking several people out of the home in handcuffs. This all started last Wednesday when police responded to a call about a man with a gun near the school you mentioned. Police chased 2 Venezuelan migrants with illegal guns into their home, where they discovered they had been squatting in the basement. Here's a look at that basement. Inside, police say they found several more guns, cocaine, and ketamine, all in the presence of a 7-year-old child.
In this video released to Fox 5 News by the NYPD, you see a group of young males believed to be migrants allegedly on their way to commit a crime. The NYPD says a current young migrant robbery pattern is a driving force behind the increased boots on the ground here.
The department has a job to do apprehensions. The prosecutor has a job to prosecute, and the federal government has a job to determine if a person is here as a migrant or asylum seeker, should determine if they're found guilty and they do their time, they should be deported. You should not be allowed to walk the streets of the city of New York if you are committing any form of criminal behavior that's impacting the quality of life of New Yorkers. Came in office 2 years ago with a clear mission, as I say over and over again, to revitalize our economy and to make our city more livable for working class people. And
As I was growing up in the 1980s, there were several events that were going on at the time period. You know, of course, we were just coming out of the gas crisis situation from the 70s. Ronald Reagan was on the way to office at this time. But one major event that had us as a grip of crime was the illegal migration that was coming in Florida, what we call the Mariana boat lift. Now, those of you will tell you is people were escaping tyranny, injustice, communism, which was partially right. There were those, you know, that was looking for a new life in this country. But the thing about it is, Castro, and I'm not certain the president, who was the president of Haiti at that time period, the president of Haiti decided to empty out their mental asylums and prisons and ship them off to the U.S. And of course, you might think yourself, well, you know, you had innocent people that were sent to those prisons and mental asylums because they were against the local regime. And yeah, there is a correct, you know, saying that, but that's a small little amount compared to the true criminal element that were in these jail cells and in these asylums. And those people came across and caused more trouble into the U.S. And you can look this up as far as the historical records and all the rioting and the fires and everything that went on in Florida. But you might say, so well, what does that have to do with New York? A lot of the elements that are on there came to New York, to the point where the NYPD created task force to fight off the crime that was going on, because we had our own situations here with the crime, the drugs, the prostitution, and for this to add on to it, it was a major surge to come in there. And and I lived through this. This was a point where I was growing up, and you didn't go out at night, really. You didn't really go out at night. You came in, mom and dad would bring us home, and that's it, during the day after school, and that was it. My mother did work at night, and we always worried on there because she worked in an office building with my cousin. They were cleaning women. They were union workers, and they used to work down in the right around the corner from the Daily News building, down on 42nd Street and 3rd Avenue. And basically, they would leave at very late at night, between midnight and 1 a.m. to come back home. Sometimes they take a bus. Sometimes they took a cab to come home. They came home as a group, because it was a group of the ladies that lived around our neighborhood, and they all came home at the same time. So, you stayed well in numbers. Thank God nothing happened. But when you looked around the neighborhood, you go to Lexington Avenue and 28, you go down toward Bellevue Hospital on 1st Avenue and 26th, you see that you had a homeless situation, a drug addict situation, and a prostitution. Yeah, especially prostitution. Prostitutes were everywhere. But let's fast forward to 2024. And now we have a new illegal migrant problem that our own government isn't responding to properly, where this administration is spending billions of dollars, which could be used for the city of New York, especially for the homeless American citizens and veterans and those sick that are on the streets right now. They're living underneath the FDR Drive, that they're living under the bridges and stuff like that, and they have nowhere to go. But meanwhile, you have legal migrants that are living the lavish life in hotel rooms, or they're in tent cities. Well, it's a little tense situation out by Randall's Island. Some of them have already gotten cars and bikes, whether they've stole them or not. Those one with the woman had a TV that when they raided the encampment, the illegal encampment, she had a nice big screen TV in her car when they were taking away the car. That wasn't legally registered to her. And we're seeing the children being used as a criminal element. We saw an 11-year-old arrested for ripping off someone's, I think, their iPhone or something to that nature. We had to have an increase of police presence in Central Park, 14th Street, and many other places. We've gotten all our cops stretched out. Now, here in Staten Island, they're beginning to do the right thing. They're beginning to put a task force together for the shoplifting situation. They're working with the merchants, finally, to stop the crime here, especially at the Staten Island Mall, which they've had a lot of issues there. But we got this report that was written in the New York Post, and you can see it from the front page last week. And this was the page that, everybody saw. And the article that came out is the migrants flooding New York City's justice system, making up 75% of the arrests in Midtown as pathetic sanctuary city laws handcuff cops. And it's not only the sanctuary laws, it is the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, over there. Hear me out. Alvin Bragg responsible for most of this. It's on his watch. He's letting these people go. Jefferson Maldonado, a 31-year-old migrant from Ecuador, has been arrested in New York City 5 times. That's 5 times since arriving in the U.S. and early this year. His latest bust was for stealing a pair of pants and a beer from the Target near Herald Square. That's on 14th. If you're not familiar with Herald Square, that's 14th Street, Union Square, where there's been a lot of crime in that area. Asked why he committed the crime, the migrant said, "I wanted to change my clothes and think. I wanted to sit down and think about my life, about what to do, because this is not a normal world." Well, you shouldn't be stealing. That's the first thing that you shouldn't be doing. And I don't think a beer is going to help you figure out your situation as well. You know, I love how they put to this perspective that, yeah, babe, you know, I got to sit down, steal some stuff and all that. And the thing about it is, a lot of these politicians, well, they're getting stuff to feed their families and stuff like that. Yeah, perfumes, beers, ice cream, you know, tools. It's not there to pay your family. Most of these people are being used by cartels and gangs to steal for them. Remember that. These people are still owing some of the coyotes, and I'm not speaking of the four-legged types that are in Central Park. I'm talking about the ones that have brought them into this country, and they still owe them money. Continuing on, across New York recently arrived migrants are flooding the criminal system at a far higher rate than public officials have acknowledged. Police sources shared with the New York Post a staggering estimate that as many as 75% of the people they have been arresting in Midtown and Manhattan in recent months for crimes like assault, robbery, and domestic violence are migrants. In parts of Queens, the figure is more than 60%. Obviously, it is because of what's going on there. Sources their estimate. On any given day, Big Apple criminal court dockets are packed with asylum seekers who have run afoul of the law. The problem is made much worse by sanctuary city laws, meaning that the New York cops aren't allowed to work with ICE on cases in which they believe suspects are in the county illegally. Additionally, the NYPD says it is barred from tracking the immigration status of the offenders. This makes it almost impossible for authorities to get their arms around the problem, expert and sources on the ground say. New York City eliminated a tool to get rid of violent criminals. What a mess. Jim Quinn, a veteran former prosecutor at the Queens District Attorney's Office, told the Post. The sanctuary city law is pathetic. It's disgusting. It's crazy. Making matters worse, the police sources say word has gotten out in the shelters about the city's lax bail guidelines, meaning migrants know that they're going to get kicked back onto the streets quickly after they are nabbed. A City Hall spokesman pointed out to Mayor Eric Adams previous calls for the council to change the sanctuary city laws. Last week, Adams says, right now we don't have the authorization to be able to go and coordinate with ICE. We have to follow the law. Well, technically, you're violating the law, Mr. Adams, because under federal law, these people have committed crimes. They should be sent back, adjudicated, sent back where they came from. So who is violating one law to the next? State law is putting to the point where it is violating federal law. I am surprised this has not been brought up at the Supreme Court level, because, you know, the point that we have these immigration laws in part is to protect the sanctity of this country, to keep us intact, to keep our laws going properly. And I've said this before, I have all-out respect for the NYPD, and their hands are being tied to the situation. You know, we have drugs, we have the Venezuelan gang, we have the situation in 2 different states, and also in New York too. We have gangs from Venezuela running rickshaw through these cities, and warnings from other gangs that are looking, you know, we could be looking down the end of a gang war in this country. And I'm not talking gangs against the cops. We're talking gang against gang. We're looking at a bloody mess that could be coming in the near future. The mayor's office has also said the city is working with the Midtown Improvement Coalition to better police the neighborhood. But you're not doing what you're supposed to do. An NYPD spokesman said the overall crime is down. No, it isn't. So far this year's compared to last year's, he added, New Yorkers can count the NYPD's ongoing vigilance in every neighborhood. However, the spokesman also noted police officers are prohibited from asking about the immigration status of crime victims, witnesses, or suspects. Therefore, the NYPD doesn't track data pertaining to immigration status. This is why they could say, well, the crime is down. It's all down. It's all down. You know, this is the reason why. Crime is up in New York City. Let me say it again. Crime is up in New York City. Do not pay attention to what Mayor Eric Adams, Kathy Hochul, and all of them, they're saying everything is fine.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. That's okay. Things are going to be okay.
As a result, the only people who have full understanding of the scale of the problem are the police officers and court workers who see it day in, day out. I would say about 75% of the arrests in Midtown Manhattan are migrants, mostly robberies, assault, domestic incidents, and selling counterfeit items, and also shoplifted items not mentioned in here. He said a figure is an estimate because you can't be 100% sure they're migrants unless you arrest them in a shelter or they're dumb enough to give you a shelter address. Another Manhattan cop said that excluding petty larcenies at drugstores, the number of local arrests involving migrants is an easy 75%, noting that most who have gotten caught shoplifting go for more pricier brand goods. They can't be bothered with the low-end stores. They like Lululemon and the Sunglass Hut, he said, adding that the migrants are behind most of the pickpocketing and phone and chain snatches the NYPD is encountering. The problem is visible in Queens courts too. There are days that we have so many migrant cases, we have to call in for extra Spanish interpreters, a law enforcement officer at the Queens Criminal Court told the Post. Another court officer said, come on Mondays, almost every case is a migrant. While many of the crimes are domestic incidents or petty thefts, others are far more heinous and sometimes involving gang violence or vicious sexual assaults. Venezuelan migrant Yulex Daniel Guzman Quintero was arraigned in Queens Criminal Court on Friday, August 28th, accused of a deplorable act of sexual abuse against his girlfriend in which he viciously choked her and held a knife to her head. Court documents alleged it happened all in front of her child. The same day, the migrant Dionisoro Moran Flores was arraigned in Manhattan Criminal Court for allegedly raping his 5-year-old daughter. He was ordered held on $150,000 bail. Meanwhile, Tren de Agua, the vicious Venezuelan prison gangs, has set up shop in NYC and is already tied to hundreds of crimes, including the shootings of 2 NYPD cops who were trying to arrest a member in June. The very same pack of thugs have been arming up to facilitate further terrorizing the city, smuggling guns into city-run shelters in food delivery bags to evade metal detectors. Most of these people we arrest are professionals. These aren't the first crimes, one law enforcement source said. The cop added that the Biden-Harris administration lacks border policies combined with sanctuary city laws have allowed the problem to fester. Now, there's more to this. I would advise you, go ahead, go check this out at the NewYorkPost.com. But this is what's been going on. This is the crime that's been going on. We got guys on scooters ripping people up. They're going into restaurants, whether it's on the street level or going into the restaurants and ripping people off. They're going into stores, shoplifting. They're going into many places, trying to get into homes, trying to rip off people's homes, apartments. We've seen this throughout. We've seen the violence both above and below the ground, the subway crimes and stuff like that. But meanwhile, this is what's going on in the city. This is, our politicians going, oh, it's okay, we have to strengthen our laws and stuff like that. No. Fire everybody on the city council, replace them completely, bring in a new city council, bring in a new mayor, because Mayor Eric Adams most likely is corrupt to hell, because that whole subpoena investigation is going up. We're going to find corruption. We're already finding corruption up in Albany, whereas one of the staff of Andrew Cuomo and Kathy Hochul was working for the CCP. Go figure that one out. Making millions off of it to that situation. New York is in crisis now. And the thing, and I've said this once and I'll keep saying this. People are saying, get the hell out of New York. You move out of New York. No, we should not. We need to fight for our homes. We need to stand fast. And what I'm talking about is get to that voters booth. Get in there. To, tell friends, tell people about these stories out there. Get to media people like us, independent media like us, Tim Pool and many others. Tell us your stories so the world will know what is going on out there. We have an election around the corner. It's not that far away. This problem was caused by this current administration. As we were trying to get hold of those borders, as soon as this new administration came in, they just wiped out every law that was put into place because they don't like the former president. They don't like what he does. But meanwhile, they were kissing his ass years ago. I grew up around, hearing about Donald Trump and how, respectful he is and, what he's done for the community and stuff like that. And now they treat him like a pariah, that, he's a Nazi, he's a white supremacist, he's all these bad things, that he will destroy democracy to the situation. I'll tell you, for those 4 years that he was in the presidency, it was very comfortable. Prices in the supermarkets was nice. Gas prices was good. Jobs were plentiful. Think about today. How you feel about this? Are you satisfied with what's going on? And don't even think of Trump into this value. Think about what is going on right now first. Are you paying a lot at the gas pump? Are you paying a lot for your food? Are you paying a lot more for electric prices, or for your home heating oil, or for your taxes? Are we in the middle looking at facing a war coming? Are we funneling money into wars that we should not be involved in? Think about that for a minute. And comment. That's right. Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts about this. Really, truly, tell me your thoughts about this. I would like to hear it. And especially if you're out from outside New York, let me know your thoughts about it. How's your city doing? How are doing out there? Because there are a lot of problems throughout the many cities throughout the United States. So let me know. But be sure to hit that like button, share this video, no matter what social media platform you're watching this on. And hopefully today is the day I've earned your subscription. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I've earned your subscription today on any of our social media platforms. I suggest hit every platform and hit subscribe on each one of them. And I'll tell you why. Because there are situations that have come forward. We might get banned on one or two media platforms, or one might be shut down. So at least you're still getting our information to you. So do support not only this show, many others in the YouTube Rumble community. Remember, it's very important that you do this. So thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.